These are just tools. There might be a moment where you're like, man, I need to jump in on this. Wow. Maybe you hear somebody of influence say something that you disagree with, and you might say, listen, respect the individual, but man, they said this and that is just not true. And you then share what your convictions are. Yeah. And I believe that you do need to be on offense and not defense right now. Yeah. So you might just say, Bloomberg, this goes back to trends, says a recession is looming. Now, a lot of people are going to click on that because it's fear-based, which is good because a lot of people are scared. But then you go, listen, I'm looking at all of these articles. They're saying recession's happening, this is happening. You go, respect, that might be happening. But here's what my belief is. I'm going to prosper in a recession and an up or a down economy.
And that's a fact, though.
Exactly.
We both are.
Exactly. Yeah. So I knowing your spirit and just getting to know you the last 40 days, but knowing that that's the way you would take it, you're jumping on the negative news, you're jumping on fear, but you're also going to bring a positive message. So you might say,
it has to work or it has to work.
Welcome to an episode of Accelerate the Great. I'm your host, Nehemiah Davis, and today I get the opportunity to bring you a real live GOAT. And you're probably like, yo, what are you talking about? I'm bringing my guy Sean on the podcast. When I talk about King of YouTube, right? When I talk about this man got a recipe to help anybody YouTube grow and get to the next level, but not just YouTube, like his team, just content creation is, just advanced. So I'm excited to welcome my brother Sean to the show. How you feeling, brother?
Feeling grateful, man. Thank you so much for having me. Hey, man, I'm just so grateful for your energy. Even we're recording this like kind of late. Yeah. But it's grind 24/7, man. Bro. I respect.
And I appreciate you just doing and I know we're late. You grinded all day today and you said, bro, we're still going to film the podcast. You still decided to show up for me. So I don't take that lightly. I don't take your time lightly. I know the level that you're at. And I just want to say thank you for it, bro.
Yeah, 100% grateful. Anything.
Yeah, thank you. So man, how did you my friends was raving about your event. I'm talking about raving, like, yo, best event I've ever been to around YouTube. Like, so many of my people went. And how did you get down this rabbit hole? Tell me a little bit about yourself, but then how did you get down this rabbit hole of YouTube?
Yeah, it's crazy because today we have something like 3 million subscribers. Wow. The book, YouTube Secrets, is like the #1 best-selling YouTube strategy book and like hundreds of millions of views. But I'm just a small town kid, college dropout. And actually, I started shooting video for my local church in 2003 for a youth group with 16 kids. Wow. And the youth pastor was like, here's a video camera, here's some video editing software. And I just started to make videos and they were terrible. You know what I mean? Like they were horrible.
2003.
But I was practicing. And then actually in 2007, we started a vlog for my pastor. Wow. This is an hour north of Seattle. Wow. And I was terrible too. But I mean, we were like just dipping our toes in the water. So like, I really believe in God's plan. Like I was positioned early. I mean, that was 2 years after YouTube started. Wow. And so fast forward to like 2009, 10, I started a freelance business. So my main kind of skill set I was sharpening was video production, shooting, lenses, cameras. So then I got on YouTube and I learned about affiliate marketing and I started to do camera tutorials, what lens should I buy for my camera? And that was when Think Media, our company today, started. And it started slow. Wow. I remember the first, affiliate commission I ever made on Amazon, it was like $2.12. That was my percentage. And CNBC actually did a documentary about me recently, like this mini 10-minute documentary, because I had almost a $40,000 month just from Amazon affiliates. Wow. That many clicks, that many cameras. Today, Think Media is actually a team of creators. And so it's just kind of scaled up from then. Now it's, 21 different income streams and the passion of video. We've turned it into a book, we've turned it into an event. And just trying to be faithful every step of the way, Wow. More doors of opportunity have opened up. And so we're just walking through each one strategically.
Yeah, you said something, though, that is critical. We were at a mastermind together. So masterminds are so powerful, bro. I've been with you literally within a 40-day span twice. Once in Miami at Grant Cardone's mastermind. In that room annually, they generated $1.95 billion annually. Yeah. Right. That's one room. We meet again at another room, Pete Vargas mastermind. That room probably did the same amount of revenue. Before I go to my question, why is it important about getting in a room? Like I tell people all the time now, how me and you wouldn't have met. We wouldn't be doing this podcast if it wasn't for us getting in that room. Yep. right? What, like, how critical is it getting in the room?
I think there's a lot of reasons. I mean, I think one is going to be those connections. Yeah. Like if you want to get access to higher level people, you need to invest. Yeah. And it shows you're serious. Higher level people are playing a bigger game. Yeah. So if you want to play a bigger game, you make an investment that helps you play bigger. I think too, you know, sometimes people wonder, am I going to learn information that is going to make me that money back? Wow. And the truth is, you might, but there's a lot of great information in books. You should be reading books. There's a lot of great information in courses. There's two things that I see happen in masterminds. The first thing is it's going to be those connections, because the connection you make can generate untold amounts of revenue, partnership, biz dev, different things that happen. The second thing though is I've learned that there's some things that are more caught than taught. Man, when we were hanging out with Grant Cardone, just sitting by him, it was weird too. I was sitting up front.
I had to write that down. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was sitting right like by his hip. I could have just like touched his knee. You know, he was on that stool. Like I'm in front center.
You had a white shirt, whitish gray shirt on. I remember it.
That's right. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, man, I'm sitting with a billionaire.
Thanks.
And a lot. I'd heard some of Grant's stuff before, but there's like something tangible that you catch something. Like I was catching a higher level of courage, vision, and that certain levels of confidence. That stuff's transferable. You know, I've actually heard you can't read about courage. You can't really study courage. Courage is transferred when you get around courageous people. Ooh. And so there's something about getting in the room. And so I've found so much transformation. Yes, in the relationships. Yes, in the connections. It absolutely affects the bottom line of my business from the ideas and the things that I implement. But there's also, it just has changed me as a person, as a man, as a leader, to get around other high level leaders that propel me to the next level.
Ooh, that's good. You said something that, like, for me, I started my business 15 years ago. First 7 years, no mentors, no coaching. Like I figured a lot of everything on my own, or I saw someone did it and I'm like, yo, how do you do it? And they kind of showed me. So somewhat a mentor, but you said something like you court YouTube 2 years after it started. How do you spot opportunities? Because I think that's, if you're able to, there's people who make millions or billions of dollars who are early adopters of things, catch trends, they do certain things. How did you know it? Did you know it was going to take off? Like who exposed, like 2 years in? I'm like, we talking about, you said 2003?
Yeah, well, 2003 in video. YouTube starts in 2005. We started YouTube channel for the church in 2007.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know, I would say personally, I actually don't think I have won because I'm one of those like bleeding edge people. I think all you really, to be an early adopter, I don't think is that hard. There's already some pioneers, some prophets that are really shouting when it seems super weird. Like you start hearing about crypto, NFTs, and people are like, oh man. And they're like, no, they're super early. The blockchain, all that's going to be here. And it feels maybe, you know, really early for some. That's like that bleeding edge level. I like to come in actually once something's kind of proven. So I don't think I actually really spotted YouTube. In a way, it's almost like YouTube chose me. You know, my name's Sean Cannell, rhymes with YouTube channel. And so, you know,
I saw that last night.
I mean, maybe, but because it was actually the pastor of that church, and it wasn't a very like progressive church, but he went to a conference. He invested in himself. He actually went to Hawaii and got around people that were talking about business, social media. And so he came back and he's like, we should start a Twitter. And we're like, what's that? Even as an elder millennial, it was like Twitter, you know, so I started getting into social media. That gave me a little bit of an edge. But I think the key, and if you're listening to this, was now fast forward to 2010, and I had a little bit of time in it. That was the early adopters. And now I could be kind of at that like front of the arc, because YouTube now is out 5 years, and then I start to really lean in. And to be honest with you, I probably should have went all in sooner. I think people are too, you know, I really didn't go all in on Think Media until 2015.
Wow. So what was the change? What was the shift between 2007 to 2015 to go all in? What were you doing in those 7 years? Were you working?
In those years, I was working and I was in ministry.
Okay.
And so it was also paying the bills. Yeah. You kind of have your day job. Yep. And so as I went through like an internship at a church where I learned video, I then just started serving. Eventually, I got hired at a church in Las Vegas. And so I also really believe that, like, if you're faithful with what's in your hands, God will give you what's in your heart.
Say that one more time.
Yeah,
You're giving me a lot of things I gotta just go ahead and write down.
I mean, I think, like, again, I believe ministry is a calling, and so I was in ministry and I wanted to be faithful. I wanted to be planted. And I sensed that God was developing me as a leader. We wouldn't be able to have the team we have today if I hadn't learned leadership lessons and team lessons. It wasn't just the content creation piece. It's like the self-discipline piece. It's the working with other people piece. It's the how do you, scale something. And so part of it was that. And then part of it was also just practical day-to-day stuff. I mean, in 2009, we actually went through a crazy season. My wife almost died.
Ooh, I'm sorry to hear that.
I mean, thank God she's here today, and it's been crazy to see the miracles. But she got really sick, and the housing bubble burst. And so we had 2 homes. Those were crushed. The tenants of one rental, they lost their job, and so that was defaulting. We were house hacking a house with some other families. They were moving out. We couldn't afford the mortgage, had to short sell that house. And then actually the church we were part of started to kind of fall apart. So the punchline was I was needing, as a man, as a leader in my home, to get a job with healthcare. The door opened in Vegas, so I planted there. And all that to say, to fast forward through that season, was that whole time I was still working on YouTube, still doing some side work for freelance clients, and still wanting to, like, move my passion and my gift forward. I enjoyed the season I was in. I thought maybe I'd be in it forever, but I kind of also knew this pull to, like, media, social, entrepreneurship. But I also needed to take care of my family, salary, healthcare. And then in 2015, that season really transitioned. And once I kind of almost felt released from ministry, I felt like I had been prepared. I had learned a lot. I had been changed. And even my pastor at the time helped me kind of get clarity. I was a campus pastor for 1.5 years. So I was doing some weddings and funerals and working with a local congregation, which I would say too, that changed me. It helped me love my community more. It helped me respect people more. It helped, like, really round out some of the edges of having a deep empathy. I think if you're going to build a big social media platform and following, you want to deeply care about your community. And it's not just about you, it's about service. So I'm being changed in all these seasons. But I remember my pastor at the end of that, he goes, "Man, how are you feeling about the last 1.5 years as a campus pastor?" And I go, Pastor Benny, I go, I kind of feel like Michael Jordan playing baseball. And with him, like, sports analogies are like prophecies. He was like, "Yeah, man, I get it," and so it was, I knew that I could kind of do that because I am wired as a leader, but I had so much clarity that YouTube, marketing, social media, video was like a passion, calling. And then he saw it as well. And so that was, in that moment, it was a pivot into entrepreneurship. And then what's crazy is I believe that the rise of Think Media has been pretty fast, but it's one of those things where a lot's happened in the last six years, but people didn't see the 10 years of pain and development and the roots growing deep first before the tree started to grow up. So it's really been, you take it all the way back to 2003. And then in the last 6 years, it's been massive acceleration. I guess our team is 23 people now, and we just are scaling and buying a building in Las Vegas and figuring things out.
Congrats.
And so, I'm a firm believer in that development as a leader and character, in terms of that process.
Awesome. So, man, I got to talk to you about, hold on, let me pull this up, man. So you sent me something to my house, top secret. And I got to talk to you about this, man. So let me go open this thing up.
Yeah.
Want to know the secret.
Ooh.
I want to know the secret. I'm sure if you looking at this, you want to know the secret. And I just bought earlier, I bought the audio book, but I'm happy you sent me a YouTube Secrets updated second edition. You told me earlier 90 extra pages.
Yeah.
One, I love the box. Thank you so much for sending it to me. It's dope. But I got to talk to you, and I'm going to use this time to learn a little bit about YouTube and see how we can. You told me you got 3 million subs.
Yeah.
I got to fix. You got the formula.
Yeah.
I need to have a little conversation about just some things that maybe I need to be focused on. One of my biggest mistakes was I've been one channel dominant. Like I don't like, and if anything, if I was gonna be one channel dominant, I would have shit was on YouTube because it's evergreen. It's like I can go post all these things on Instagram, right? And you're never gonna go back and look at 60 videos, I don't think.
Right.
You're not gonna go on my Instagram and search how to make money, how to grow your Instagram following, how to do this. But YouTube, you can do that. It's the second, from my understanding, the second largest search engine in the world.
Yeah.
It's an evergreen model. I mean, I got podcasts that I've done with David, with all of these individuals, and they still being seen every single day. My Instagram isn't being seen, like, meaning people aren't scrolling down 60 posts and see what I did 2 years ago, but every day on YouTube, they're doing that.
Yep.
So I got to understand, some of these secrets or some of these formulas.
Yeah, I mean, you're already good at creating content.
Yeah.
Like, you're a good communicator and you're already publishing content. So what I'd probably go through, we have like tools in a tool belt. And there's like 16 different video ideas we like to teach through. If I'm you,
let me tell you where I'm at, just so because I'm gonna be selfish. So our listeners, they gonna get something out of this, learning from me, learning from you, breaking me down, breaking it down. I got 13,000 subs, and I'm gonna be very honest with you. I was looking the other day, and I recorded a video with Andrew, some of my video team, and I'm like, man, I'm very discouraged. I'm gonna be honest. It's like I got 500 on YouTube, 200 on TikTok, 500 on Instagram, 500K, 200K on TikTok, and man, I'm nothing on YouTube. I'm 13,000 subs, minimum watch hours.
How often do you upload?
We just started uploading.
Well, okay, I mean,
meaning no, we had. But so I'm looking at it like I'm at the beginning stages,
totally,
and somebody else is looking at this and they're there like maybe I shouldn't do it at all.
Yeah.
But now I'm finally going all in. But I'm trying to figure out: do I go back and delete my old videos? Do I?
No.
Talk to me. Yeah.
So the future's forward, and what I would start with is
what that mean? The future's forward.
It just means like don't worry about the past. Like
okay,
upload new videos. Some videos are getting you some views, and I wouldn't worry too much about them. I think like we have these different video ideas in our tool belt, and I'll go through a couple of them if I'm you that I would do.
Yeah.
And really topic is what it comes down to. Like if you go on YouTube, for example, and you look at what are the most viewed videos ever. I'll give you some examples. You can look at videos that are like 10 richest people's homes. You ever heard of videos like that?
Yes, I have.
Or like tour through a multi-million-dollar mansion.
Yeah.
Or, a certain Ferrari compared to a certain Lamborghini, or two different videos, and they go head to head.
Yeah.
Like, so of course, those topics get a certain level of attention. Yeah. Now, if you do a video on, how to start a mastermind, well, that's never going to get millions of views.
Right.
That's acceptable, right? Yeah. No, that's not. It's a more tactical, specific thing. So the simplest way to get started is to answer specific questions. What are the top questions people ask you that would attract your ideal viewer? What are the top Instagram reels that perform for you?
Top ones is normally me teaching something, like something very quick, how to open up an event space, how to make $1 million from your first ebook, it's like quick stuff.
So and on YouTube, I don't think it would need to be quick. How to make $1 million from your first ebook is an incredible YouTube video.
Okay.
And that's a great title, and that is a specific question with also a really cool promise. So that's number one, answer specific questions. One of the ones I'd lean into.
Can I write this down while we doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we call it ASQ, answer specific questions.
Okay.
One of the ones I would do I would do TSS, teach specific skills.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, that's also kind of like answer specific questions, but there may just be a question. Like if a real estate agent was watching this, they might be like, should I get an FHA loan or a conventional loan? It's like a question. Teach specific skills might be.
Should I start an ebook or do I start a course first?
Sure. Like that. It's a very specific, or what are the best ways to make money online? It's kind of a general question. You're going to give some answers. Teach specific skills might be where you get in there granularly and show people how to do things. Like more specifically, if you wanted to teach about like how to set up a Facebook ad, literally step by step in 2023, those can get a ton of views. So if there's any kind of tutorials or things that give people a lot of practice, YouTube is a education platform. Like 65% of people want to answer a specific question. They want to learn something. And so sometimes it's not just necessarily talking head information. And the cool thing about these, you don't have to necessarily do all of them or any of them, but these are all tools in your tool belt. And I've learned that some of the most kind of tutorial-based videos, they can do really good. But this is where it gets interesting. The next one is trend surfing.
Trend surfing.
So you'll be able to crush this because you're plugged into culture. And trend surfing is where you make a video reacting or commentating or tying into a particular trend. So what's a trend? So a recent trend could be like the Fed raises rates 75 basis points. And so if you're a loan officer, you should be talking about that. Like, or if you just want to talk about money in general, you should be talking about that. Maybe the government's doing stimulus checks, or the government has done something that is related to your audience. You talk about that.
How do I do it around my digital business? You know, I teach people how to make extra 50 to $250,000 leveraging masterminds, ebooks, courses, and your personal brand.
Yeah. So, you know, it could be anything like.
Hey, stop what you're doing. I know you're watching this episode. I want you to go to 7figurevirtualeventebook.com. I'm going to say it again, 7figurevirtualeventebook.com. I had the privilege this year to help multiple people do 6 and 7 figure days leveraging virtual events. And I put together a 7-step process that's going to walk you through a step by step by step. And once you're done with that book, if you're like, Neo, I want to learn this a lot more in a deeper sense, I want you to go to mastermindwithneo.com. This is one pillar of my mastermind, right? We got 5 different pillars that we teach. This is just one pillar, how to dominate virtual events, right? So if you're interested, go to mastermindwithneo.com and book a call with my team to see if you are a good fit to join our mastermind. Let's go.
Forbes releases an article that says that by 2025, the e-learning industry is going to be $1 billion a day industry.
Yep.
Well, trend surfing is you're tying into news, headlines, Forbes, and then you're in the video.
Okay.
So trends also could be things like, I did a recent one that actually tied into the recession. You know, people are debating whether or not we're in one, but 2 quarters of negative GDP. Mr. Beast's manager released an article. So this helps to like peruse on Google News, see what's happening in your keyword. For me, it's creator economy. So I go in and I look up creator economy. I find out that
that's your own keyword or something that being
meaning
made
like the topics I want to be tuned into.
Okay, got it.
So maybe you want to be, I'm tuned into, I search YouTube.
Okay.
I search creator economy. If someone's watching this or in real estate, they're paying attention to real estate, maybe local. You might be paying attention to finance. You might be paying attention to, and you also might be looking at kind of different blogs, or even on Instagram, people you follow, like something leaks. And it could be something as newsworthy as, let me give you the next one, influence surfing. So trend surfing is like news. Influence surfing is reacting to or commentating on someone else of influence. So I've seen a lot of people do this.
In a positive light or a negative light?
Either one, it's up to you.
Okay.
And it's whatever your
positive,
conviction
so.
is.
Okay.
Like, negative doesn't have to be bad. So there's a guy, Meet Kevin, big personal finance YouTuber, who actually made videos where he disagreed with Grant Cardone. Like, for example, it's a good example. You could actually put, like, Robert Kiyosaki has made videos about Dave Ramsey.
Yeah.
Robert Kiyosaki says leverage credit.
Yeah.
Dave says cut up your credit cards.
Right.
That's a good fight to get in.
Right.
Because if it's your conviction, like, listen, you got to be disciplined. You're not going to use your credit cards for consumer debt. You're going to be using it to build your business. You're going to be using it. And so when someone doesn't know you yet, if you're trend surfing and you already have an audience, you have an audience other places, but you're going to your YouTube channel, you're meeting new people, maybe something happens. It could be with someone like a personal finance expert, but it also could just be you reacting to the beef between Kanye and Kim right now. And there might be a lesson to learn in that.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. My friend Charlie has a channel called Charisma on Command. And so his videos will be like 3 secrets we can learn from Ellen about communication. They don't know him yet, but they know that he's breaking down. When Conor McGregor was big in the UFC, really and doing a lot of fights, he'd make like a video breaking down some stuff from Conor McGregor. So these are just tools. There might be a moment where you're like, man, I need to jump in on this. Wow. Maybe you hear somebody of influence say something that you disagree with, and you might say, listen, respect the individual, but man, they said this and that is just not true. And you then share what your convictions are. Yeah. And I believe that you do need to be on offense and not defense right now. Yeah. So you might just say, Bloomberg, this goes back to trends, says a recession is looming. Now, a lot of people are going to click on that because it's fear-based, which is good because a lot of people are scared. But then you go, listen, I'm looking at all of these articles. They're saying recession's happening, this is happening. You go, respect, that might be happening. But here's what my belief is. I'm going to prosper in a recession and an up or a down economy.
And that's a fact, though.
Exactly.
We both are.
Exactly. Yeah. So I knowing your spirit and just getting to know you the last 40 days, but knowing that that's the way you would take it, you're jumping on the negative news, you're jumping on fear, but you're also going to bring a positive message. So you might say, hey, friends, we got to read this article together, and you have like Forbes in it. Forbes says USA is doomed.
Is this like a green screen? You know, on Instagram, I use a green screen. I pull the article up, and it's behind me. Like, how am I doing it on YouTube? Am I pulling the article and showing it in my background? Like, how do I do that?
You could read it on an iPad, and somebody could help you with editing and edit it in later.
Okay.
You could use something like StreamYard and go live and like share your screen. So you could be just kind of on a camera or a laptop and share your screen where you're reading an article. You're like, friends, let's look at this together.
Okay.
You're like, so here's the 5 predictions from Bloomberg News.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you know what's interesting? I learned this strategy from Dave Ramsey and from Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone's got shows. He's got Cardone Zone. He's got Young Hustlers. He's got Power Players. He's got G&E Show with his wife. And so what Grant would do on Cardone Zone is he would look at something like recent job numbers or recent unemployment or something, and he'd start his show with what's happening in culture, what's happening in people's minds, and then he'd tap into his stuff. He'd be like, listen, number 1, you got to get committed. Number 2, so he would jump off on the trend, and I would see Ken Coleman on the Dave Ramsey Network. I would see him do the same thing. He's like a jobs guy. So all that to say is you can answer specific questions, you can teach specific skills, you can react to trends. One of the ones to complete the loop that I saw, Mr. Beast's manager, Reed Desher, wrote an article internally, an email to all their creators. He has a network of creators. And he said how to prepare for the coming recession for content creators, because brands were canceling contracts. Yeah. A lot of tech companies were doing layoffs, and they were contracting in the fourth quarter. So because I think this way, and I think, okay, trend surfing, and if I put creator economy recession in my YouTube title and kind of have maybe like that crashing stock market, there's a good creator named Graham Stephan where you could see he does it like almost every single video is almost trend surfing. Like he kind of goes on, this is what the Fed says, this is what's happening in the market, but it really performs well. And then he brings, though, that's I think the key. It's you're not like a purveyor of doom and gloom. Typically you're tapping into where people's emotions are. Yeah. And I would hopefully, anybody listening to this, you're also then going to be a hope dealer. You're going to deliver tactics. So I read Reed's thing. I just read through it. I go, he tells you to do this, this, and this. And then I share my 2 cents. And people are grateful too. Thanks for helping me plan ahead. Hey, save up cash. Be ready to take care of opportunities. Yeah. And so people are, you get into that trend, and you, of course, then deliver your content. You can contextualize that. And then influence surfing is, another one where a lot of channels, if you look at someone like all these different kind of talk show, Joe Rogan would probably be one of the best examples. This works for you, doing podcasts. Yeah. And David did this with me the other day. He brought up some YouTube stories. Joe Rogan clips, which go super viral, is him and a guest. And he'll say, what do you think about this whole thing that's happening right now in the elections? Yeah. What do you think about to these different guests? And he's just constantly hitting culture. Yeah. And so if you could do a long form podcast, but then you, throughout that, plant some questions, what are the recent news headlines? What I might do, and this one thing we want to do at Think Media, is I might get someone also to help you on your team to be like a research assistant. To like serve up for that. Yeah, serve up hot stories to you. I remember watching like Kelly Ripa on, it used to be the Regis and Kelly show, right? Yeah. And on her desk would be a pile of stories. You could do that research yourself, but if there's something like, there might be something. Did you hear about this? Yeah. And it's something that you then are able to put, like what did former President Barack Obama said what about the current and that's the beginning of your show.
Yeah.
Or that's something that you bring up, and so whatever it is, you could say, Dr. Dre just did what? Just sold beats for how much money? And then, friends, this is what that teaches us. So you're tapping into those headlines. You're able to put them
and create a teaching moment.
And then these thumbnails are
tell me about the thumbnails.
They're brands. They're you, or maybe you're not even in them.
Let me ask you this one question before we go to thumbnails, because I just want to make sure. With the trend surfing, is the idea is that we catch as many views and all of that on that video initially, but because after a while, if the trend, how to maximize on Corona.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Maybe, I don't know if I could say that on YouTube, but C19.
Yeah.
But it's over with now. So that video now becomes useless.
Yeah.
Or do we not care about that? Just so I understand.
That's why you have multiple tools in your tool belt.
Okay.
Answer specific questions, teach specific skills. Those are like fine wine. They get better with age. Those videos, people keep searching for how to make $1 million with an ebook. And the trend surfing videos, though, those do expire, but those could get you that quick growth and new discovery of people who didn't know you, but they've been following the trends. And then people go, man, I resonate with Neo, man. He's like, I really have what else does he have? And then they can go into your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you want to have multiple bullets in your, weaponry. You're putting out these different types of videos. Another one would be then video podcasts, because all of those wouldn't necessarily be a video podcast in and of themselves. They might be a 7-minute video, a particular tutorial.
How long should all of these be that you just taught me about?
I mean, as long as it needs and as short as possible. So, I mean, if you can hit it in 5 minutes, that's like a clip. Okay. So let's say then video podcasting, just like we're doing now, is a foundational moment. Maybe it'd be a longer clip, but you could potentially.
This is a video podcast we're doing right now.
So we're doing a video podcast.
Yes.
And if you consolidate it down and maybe even made my long-windedness shorter, you could probably say, 5 video types for going viral on YouTube. And then I'm like ASQ, TSS, trend surfing, influence surfing, video podcasting. There's 5. Wow. And this clip is inside of this video podcast. Yeah. But the bigger video podcast might be like how to crush it on YouTube with Sean Cannell. Yeah. So you're hitting
and rhymes with YouTube channel.
Rhymes with YouTube channel. And so the video podcast format also might be for the people who get to know you, 45 minutes, hour-long shows. But of course, the influence surfing would include celebrity guests. Yeah. Same kind of idea. In some cases, though, you don't even need to know the celebrity to tap into their influence, because you could have them in the thumbnail, you commentate on them. Legally, by the way, that's fair use. It's fair use law. If you commentate in the video on them, you can use them in the thumbnail, just like a news station would do. And so,
ooh, that's a gem.
Yeah. So so then that's a piece.
So I talk about Kevin Hart, I could use them in the thumbnail.
Yeah. And again, you make a video like 3 business lessons I learned from Kevin Hart.
Wow. Jeez, I hope people are hearing this. 3 business lessons. Wow.
And I mean, number 5, video podcasting. Another one we say is OPC.
Tell me about that.
So it stands for, it's not OPP. It's not 90 by nature.
Yeah.
It's OPC, other people's content. And so other people's content would be 3 things from Kevin Hart is like my friend Evan Carmichael. He does these videos like Oprah's top 10 rules to success.
Yeah.
And it's all these different curated clips of Oprah, but he then kind of hosts them.
Yeah.
So why can't you do that?
Facts.
So again, you're trying to grow the channel up. You might say like 5 tips from Kevin Hart on business.
Yeah.
And he's the hook, you intro it. What's interesting is, you mentioned our event. So that's not the main kind of content we do, but this can all fit. Yeah. So what I did was I planned out a video, and I knew we had Gary Vaynerchuk coming to our conference. Interesting, I didn't even get him to agree to come on to a podcast or anything before. But I know fair use law, and this was probably better than him on a podcast. So I thought, okay, he's got all his content out there. Let me go find everywhere he talked about YouTube. And I came up with a video called Gary V's 7 Rules of YouTube Success. Like Evan's never made a video like that, but I'm inspired. It's one of the content formats, one of those tools in your tool belt. So I was like, okay, so I went, found these videos, did all the time codes, and then recorded myself on camera. And for me, I was able to pass that off to an editor. So I sent him like a Google Doc and I was like, these are the clips. And I named the rules, like do this, do this, do this. And it came up with 7. I narrated through, and then, it's like the hook. It was like tip number 1, tip number 2. And then I was like, hey, by the way, Gary Vee is speaking at our event, growvideolive.com. And then I'm adding value and then promoting also our event mid video. And then I also promoted at the end. And that video did 3, 4, 5x better than our other videos. Wow. Reaching an audience with value and also promoting our event. And of course, having Gary speaking was great. Yeah. But again, I was able to just make that video on my own initiative. Of course, Gary's in the thumbnail. The video led to new subscribers. They discovered Think Media in the process. It wasn't even just about the event. And that video is still getting views to this day. It's the only video about Gary Vee's top 7 rules of YouTube success. Wow. Even better when I tie it into my niche. Wow. If you niche down, because a lot of people might be doing like Kevin Hart highlights of comedy, but that's not what you're after. You're after the
JT's top 5 rules of success.
Yeah, and you're pulling his entrepreneur stuff.
Wow.
If you're pulling his business stuff, and that's because that's also the kind of people you want to attract. You don't even actually want to go 10 million views viral. You want to get 555,000 views on his business tips, because you want to attract business owners, serious people. You want to attract thinkers, those that entrepreneurs. Yeah. And so the kind of videos you post end up leading to the types of people you will attract. And so again, if you were to do like, I know music on YouTube's kind of sketchy, but if you were to do like best verses of Jay-Z, you might get millions of views, but it's just a bunch of random people. So you do tie it into like entrepreneurship and Jay-Z, and then you, and that would be a real, that's tying influence surfing with OPC, other people's content. And I could go on and on, but you just do like those 6 we just talked about, and just start pumping videos out. And then I think it's about, we talk about
how many videos, how many a week I need to be pumping out right now based on 13,000 subs. My goal next 90 days, take it to 50,000 within a year. Yeah. 250,000 subs.
A couple of things. If I'm you, I'm as much as you can. Yeah. Okay. How much time do you have?
We got, and that.
How much time a week can you give me to YouTube?
I could give you about 8 hours.
Okay, so if you give me 8 hours, I'm gonna spend 2-3 hours preparing my content.
2 to 3 hours preparing.
I'm gonna then shoot 4 videos at least, all in one session.
2 to 3.
So you're like, and if you, which you do, because you got team delegation. If you,
that's what I'm about to ask you. What do my team need to look like?
Well, you might also you should text somebody and be like, hey, let's find a bunch of rules and present me Jay-Z's rules of success. I need you to watch his video podcast. I need you to watch these clips and find where he talks about business. That gives you some leverage. Someone presents that to you, you just sit down and you present the information. That's gonna help you go faster. If you got to sit down and build the whole video out, that's good too, but that's how you're gonna be using your time. If you can compound 4 people in a row to come on the podcast, whatever you could do to like compress time, we call it batching.
Compound 4 people to come. When you say that, 4 separate people, or sit 4 people here and we do it?
4 in a row. Here's another one.
That's what I want to make sure.
You could do different parts. Yeah. So I was at David's Podcasters Boot Camp today, and so you could do different parts where like you could upload 1 video with me, or you could upload 2 videos and you have 2 different thumbnails, 2 different titles. One could be maybe the YouTube section of the conversation. The other one could be like, and that's 2 uploads, which is more chance for if each one's strong title, strong thumbnail. So sometimes I prepare my interviews purposely in advance to break them in parts. Maybe one is going to be like, I'm like, okay, with this person, this first 25 minutes, I just want to kind of talk about a story of more like story and perseverance of Stormy Wellington or somebody you hook up with, so you're like, okay. And then maybe she's got a particular thing she teaches. So in part 2, and you could hope that happens organically, but it's much better if you architect it. So just thinking about how you can get more uploads. I think ultimately, with 8 hours a week, you just commit. And then I also would encourage you to be patient. At the same time, I know you're driven and ambitious.
Yeah, I'd be like, I'm like, yo, give me 50 or 100K subs or I quit.
Yeah, and what happens is it does compound, because especially as you answer specific questions, you do stuff like Jay-Z's top 5 rules of business success and stuff like that. That kind of video.
I got to do that before this video goes out because someone else is going to do it.
Yeah, it's a lot of good ideas on this podcast.
Oh, my God. You sitting here giving me, yo, if you're listening to this is a full-on mastermind he's giving me. Like a full, Sean, I appreciate you, my brother. I mean, I don't want it to end, y'all. My God. Yo, bro, and I want them to know this. Like when I talk about taking notes, it's like y'all can't see all my notes, but I'm serious about these notes, bro.
Last thing I do is
Hey, what's up? You're looking at this video because you are enjoying the episode. What I need you to do right now, I need you to like, subscribe, and share this episode below. I'm not going to ask you for anything on this episode other than share this with a friend. My goal is literally for this to be one of the most impactful, one of the most powerful podcasts there are, that moves people into action and takes people from where they are to where they want to be. And one other favorite I want to ask, can you leave in the comments below at least 2 to 3 different comments on your biggest takeaways, which you're loving the most, and one thing that you're going to do to push yourself closer to your goals and your dreams. So again, thank you so much for tapping in. Get back to the episode.
I wouldn't just like tell your Instagram and anything else that you have a YouTube channel. Once you're committed and you're consistent, I would do a continuous campaign to educate your current audience about YouTube and the value there. Here's the mistake people make. They're like, hey, Instagram, go subscribe to my YouTube channel. Well, what value does that have for the people following you there?
Yeah.
But if you were to do a reel and say, hey, listen, this is the kind of stuff. Phil DeFranco's doing this. He goes, I'm giving $10,000 away this month to 10 new subscribers to my channel this month. Promote that everywhere.
1,000 each or 10,000? Okay, gotcha.
And so now at least someone can not only go there, see what's happening, and subscribe. You get on and you say, you get a great video that drops. And you even maybe go a little more heartfelt. You open up the story, Instagram story, and you just say, hey, listen, like what we're doing over on YouTube is pretty amazing. If you haven't seen our YouTube channel yet, here's what's in it for you. We're uploading stuff we're not talking about it anywhere else. Yeah. You know, we're dropping some really research videos that are going to give you the insights and secrets of some of the top business people that I love and respect.
Yeah.
Hey, can you go subscribe? And then just do that like consistently do that. Now, if you got an email list, it's like, let your email list know about the giveaway. Let your email list know about the next video. And not just once, consistently. And not overly marketing, like, hey, just go subscribe. It could be, if it's too pushy and it's all at once, a few people go and then you forget about it. This is how you would kind of migrate your current audience over there. It's going to help you get there faster. You make it like, you could say like, hey team, what's the 3-month campaign, slow and steady, that we just are consistently educating and promoting our YouTube channel. Because the other thing is, you also don't want people to go just cause. You do want as much as possible to get people who are going because of the articulated value of why they should go. And in a way, it's almost, the exclusivity could almost be like, listen, and honestly, don't go unless you're serious about business, because I'm only going to be sharing my best stuff.
Yeah.
You know, or what, like you want to build up that cultivated audience. And so the giveaway thing could be cool, but sometimes it can attract people who are like, I just want to go, and they don't really watch YouTube.
Yeah.
So we typically tell people the best way to grow on YouTube is YouTube itself.
Yeah.
Not moving an audience from somewhere else. However, in your case, you got a lot of people who love you. Yeah. So you want to let them know what you're doing, why it matters, why it'll benefit to them methodically while you're focusing on your strategy of uploading consistent videos.
And you said something else that's key, because I hear everybody talk about it. And again, you dropping game. How critical is that thumbnail? Like I still need to know, because you said the team, to do what I need to do, how many team members do I? How many editors do I need? How many researchers? Like, I want to put a budget behind this, bro. Totally. I don't want to play around with this. I want to really go all in. Do I need a manager to manage these? Yeah. I'm not a manager. Like, what do I need to?
So there's like a rare unicorn that can be found in some low population wooded areas called a shredder.
A shredder.
Pretty rare. It's a shooter, producer, editor. So if there is such a thing as somebody who like could shoot and also kind of produce because they'd understand YouTube, and then also can edit and could kind of run your channel, could scale it up as you're starting.
Where do I find them at?
You can't. They're almost extinct.
Dang.
Yeah. I mean, it's, unicorns. But that is one approach. Like it's because and then let's break it down then. Probably what you may have is who is shooting the content. That would be a question.
Yeah.
Then it's who is editing the content. That's probably the same person. Big question though is, does that editor understand YouTube editing, or do they just edit videos? Because there's levels to the game. There's skills to, you got to understand the hook. So it's like, if we just have this conversation, you just start right at the beginning. It's like, no, you found maybe a couple golden nuggets. And you've seen the beginning of podcasts where like maybe a drum hits, boom. Like Ed Milet says some stuff, another boom. This is kind of what's coming up. And then it gets into it. Yeah. And maybe.
Do I need to do that every one of my episodes?
Well, you should always hook the video as good as possible.
How do I hook? Like, tell me because you said bring on, like, just say you and I talk. You gave so much gems, we cut that in, but what is a good hook if I don't have that? Like,
I mean,
it ain't stop what you're doing. Look at this. Like, what is
the simplest way to do the hook is what would make the viewer want to watch it to the end. Wow. So how can you tease the content coming up? Can you ask a qualifying question? Can you actually articulate a reason for them to watch until the end? In reality TV, the way they do it is they do show you the best clips. So if you turn on an episode of the Kardashians and like there was a fight between, Kim, Khloe, I can't believe it. They show you that moment. Remember, the coming up, and it shows you a couple clips. You're like, oh, wait, they went shopping where? And then they're like, that fight broke out and that thing happened. And then you see that same thing happen 15 minutes later. But they packed the front to give you a reason to watch until the end. You know what's actually interesting about hooks? When you watch movie trailers right now on YouTube, there's a hook before the hook because YouTube has 5 seconds to skip the ad.
Yeah.
So there's like, it goes, and it shows you all these clips that it's coming up. There's 5 seconds. There's a hook to get you to watch a hook that's trying to get you to watch the movie. Because then there's 5 seconds before the 1 minute. And so it's a way of thinking more than anything. It's just, what are you putting up front that would make the video irresistible to watch to the end? If I watch the beginning and it takes a couple minutes to get to the point, then I jump off. If I watch the beginning and there's no compelling reason to keep watching, then I'm not that interested. And so we could go into that. I mean, definitely check out the book and some of the other stuff. It's a whole art form.
I'm checking. I sent the team. We bought the course today, so they about to go through that.
Yeah.
But then I had you here,
and that's how you want to build Shredders, is to kind of think, okay, hey, as a team, we buy Sean's course, Video Rake It Academy. We're buying YouTube Secrets. We're buying Brendan Kane's book, Hook Point. If we don't read books, we're listening to audiobooks, and we're consistently talking about this stuff, And so, all that to say, then finally is, you probably want an editor. A producer. That's kind of like the individual that is overseeing the edits and making sure the videos get posted, and maybe is doing the channel management. Yeah. So maybe that individual is optimizing the videos, writing the titles, and making sure that links to the proper things are in the description. And so to your point, as a manager, that person would also be a manager. Maybe you have 1 or 2 editors. Hey, they're making sure the shooter is Dropboxing the footage and everything's getting done.
What system do y'all use to work with each other?
So we use Slack for talking back and forth, and we use Monday.com for working through videos. And like, we'll have a video. It's in like pre-production, post-production, and the video like idea or titles there. And then it's like, is it in editing? Is it in post-production? It's who is it?
You got a board like that? You could share it to me?
Yeah, we'll share a board with you.
Oh, yeah. So my team could just model that thing?
Yeah. Yeah, it's gnarly too. We've been building. This is proprietary. This should be a part of our, this is a big, but
Is that part of what I bought with the course or no?
No, that's a deeper
level. That's
level,
just something you might hook me up with.
Yeah. And this, for sure. No, happy to help. And for some, I mean, again, if you're a lot of people listening to this, you just got to grab your smartphone, punch fear in the face, and just press record, get started. You don't need a Monday board. Yeah. But to go at a more sophisticated level, that's how you step it up and stay organized.
I really want to grow this Gary V, Sean Cannell. Like, I really want Hormozy. I want to be remembered, man. Yeah. I want to, and I've been complacent with it all these years. But for me, I do need to get me a manager who could take this by the horns and say, I got it, Neo.
Yeah.
I'm going to go take this thing. Like a Omar.
Yeah.
That dude's a sad, like he on your team, he's on top of it.
Best is the best.
How do I get that? Oh, like I gotta find that.
There's these unicorns in rare wooded areas that are.
You just told me.
I mean,
call it a shredder.
One of the things that Neil Patel told me, he said
Neil's a bad guy too. He's nice with it.
Yeah, he's rad.
He's in Vegas too with you, I think.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. And he told me too, like if you really want to find someone that is gonna be able to crush it, just hire somebody that's been successful twice. Deep. Yeah. Because the question would just be like, hey, who else, whose channels have you managed?
Wow.
That's
simple.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. And then what?
Who, not how.
Yeah, who, not how. And so who did, like how many editors? They might be like, oh yeah, I worked for this YouTuber, I'm relocating or something. Maybe they want to be like, who knows? You're finding somebody and it was kind of cool. We had 2 editors. We had this kind of our workflow. We worked with a graphic designer. And then you're like, did you hire them? They're like, yeah, I actually found them. I managed, or no, they were all pre-existing. So yeah, just the interview process, very tough to find. Cause these are some of our vision.
I like that you be transparent. Like, bro, it's hard to find this, but you can find it.
Yeah. And one of the things we want to do in Vegas is, we could do it anywhere, but we'd bring people to Vegas, is we want to make a shredder school. This is such an in-demand job. Like one of the greatest opportunities in the next decade is to go that direction. It's kind of the D-Rock. Yeah. In fact, my friend Caleb Ralston was
Hermozy, right?
Yeah. He was working for Gary.
For Gary, I know.
And now he's building all of Hermozy's team.
I see.
And so that would be, he'd be kind of beyond a shredder, but he's at that leader, shredder, manager level, but he can also do it all. He could be the model of saying, no, this is how we shoot. These are the angles. This is what it is. And so, and so we want to build a shredder school and even do boot camps for the shooters and the editors and the producers. Like, of course you could roll too, but you might just be like, hey, go learn from the Think Media team because it's Monday boards and Slack and
that's it.
Yeah.
That's what I need. Like, sign me up. I want to be your first client for that.
Yeah.
Man, you're giving me so much game, bro. I appreciate it. On my thumbnails, because I heard minimum words on the thumbnail. Like the thumbnail isn't the same as the title of the video, right?
Right. Yeah, you want to keep it as simple as possible. Rule of 3, maybe a picture of you, and typically no words if possible.
No words. Wow.
Like it might be. I mean, if it's the Jay-Z one, it's going to be Jay-Z's face zoomed in quite a bit, and it's like rules of success, or it might say, I'm not a businessman, I'm a business, man. It's too many words, but I love that quote from him. It's like, and so it's maybe some text. You can look at Evan Carmichael and Lewis House for that style of video. For you, if you can show visually what it is. So, it's a picture of you. There's a picture of an ebook, and it maybe says ebook. That'd be a word. Yeah. And then there's an arrow that translates to a cool visual of money sign 1 with an M. Ebook to 1 million with like your face, stoic or emotion, and simple. Yeah. And that's it. Today we were doing some coaching with people and they were showing me their thumbnails. They got like names and social handles and logos of social media things and like all this kind of detail as if it's like, it's not, you got to get rid of all that stuff and just simplify it down to about 3 things. That was a study, by the way, that discovered the rule of 3 in best performing thumbnails for Netflix. You could apply that to YouTube. Simple as possible. And let the title then tell the rest of the story and really hook people in because they're like, okay, cool, ebook to 1 million. They read it, how to, and then, see, and they can click on the video.
I hear people always talk about, you got to do keywords and SEO, is the keywords in the title or is that in the description? I always hear people talk about that, or does that not matter?
Going into 2023, it's a lot weaker than it once was.
Okay.
Still relevant.
Okay.
It's still like a skill set to know. But it's not just about like perfectly keyword title. It's much more about speaking to humans, even sometimes having no keywords and having mystery, like this YouTube strategy changed everything, ... with like a good thumbnail. Yeah. And so if it's a good video with good audience retention, that kind of video can outperform kind of search-based, keyword-based videos, but there's a lot of relevancy to it. Still, especially if it's very practical, ASQ, TSS, teach specific skills, answer specific questions. If it should be practical, then why not just make it keyword-based? Yeah. Because someone's literally like, how do I,
You basically turning me into Batman. Like, you giving me the tool. You said you got 16 different tools. You already gave 5, which is just, I'm not even going to ask for anymore. I got to download all of these, but yeah. I think I'm about to be on another level with YouTube, bro.
Yeah, Bruce Wayne to Batman. It's time.
That's it, bro. It's time.
It's a dark night,
bro. And I've been beating myself up, but now I feel like I can go. I feel like I'm liberated now. You sat here and gave me these gems. I'm gonna get me a shredder. You know what I'm saying? And I think I'm gonna be ready. Let me ask you this: for my channel with these, if I start with my 3 videos a week, should it be done the same day, the same time? Does that matter? Like Sunday at 7 p.m. we drop, Wednesday at 6 we drop, or
yeah, it doesn't really matter. Okay. YouTube will show you in the back end that when you should upload. There's a tab that says when your audience is online. Okay. And so most days you probably want to post it at like the beginning of, it's like different colors, light purple, darker purple, and purple. Like you want to post it at the beginning of, so typically it's probably, my guess is it's probably related to your local time. It's probably your audience starts getting online around 5 a.m. most weekdays. And then it's a little hotter at 7 and the peak hours are in the midday, and they're probably asleep at night. And that's not to say that you have an international audience, so there's other people on, but to get the video the most momentum possible, you just kind of want to post them in that sweet spot. For us at Think Media, we're on the West Coast. That is what it shows for us. We typically upload videos at 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, schedule upload. So that is not being done manually. They're scheduled ahead of time. They go live. When we wake up and jump online, we answer a few comments, make sure everything's cool, but they're all kind of approved and ready ahead of time.
How important is the premiere? So I see a lot of people do. When I was on $1 Million Worth of Game, they did a premiere. They had a lot of people waiting there. I see some Earn Your Leisure, they do a premiere where you go watch it first before it officially get released to the channel.
Yeah, it's not bad to do, especially if you have something really cool to premiere and people can get hyped. Yeah. But the mistake people make is there's no one there in the comments. The point of the premiere is to be there as the creator, almost like a real premiere. Like, hey, like this is my interview with Jay-Z. Like you're gonna have Jay-Z on the show.
Yes,
you're gonna premiere that. Like people are gonna be pumped, and then you are in the comments, maybe someone else. The goal is to kind of build up hype and be like, hey, y'all, are you ready? This is the premiere. What people do is they're just not there. So it's like the first viewing of the video. It's not a lot different than just making the video live. I saw Patrick Bet David though premiered his 5-hour interview with Andrew Tate, and 50,000 people watched the entire thing while it was premiering. Wow. And so it was an event. He had just got canceled, deleted off all the platforms. The fact that PBD had like the guts to even get into that thing. And so I don't think he rarely premieres his videos, but that was like
huge,
a thing. And so that's kind of the point of a premiere.
And I learned something. You be in there, your team responding and showing love.
Yeah, and and they can even say, hey, hit like, or people ask questions, and that builds that community.
I guess my last question. I got an office at home, and I just cook up at home. Like I got the Atum, and I'm in there switching, and I just get motivation sometimes. Wake up at 3 a.m. Let's go cook.
Yeah,
and I saw Myron do it. Like he does a lot of streaming. That's some of his best videos are stream videos. Like, is it okay that I'm doing? Like I'm not scheduling these. I'm just going in there. I'm just 5 mistakes that cost me millions. I just did another one the other day. The influencer fast pass, like how to make millions of dollars with influencers. But I'm just going in filming them. I don't have a thumbnail pre-made up. I don't have none because the idea just drops on me and I just go. Just don't know if that's good or bad. I like winging it.
And do you use a whiteboard?
Sometimes. I didn't use a whiteboard for them, no. Like I do have a whiteboard set up.
Best practices for that. I mean, one thing Myron does for sure. He doesn't always use a whiteboard, but that visual helps.
Got it. Okay.
Just because, and for you too. By the way, Grant used a whiteboard. Like teach. You know, it gives something, it gives interactive, gets you moving. You're kind of like right number one, number two.
Teach.
I would say, if possible, be patient and at least try to like, you could do it more prime time and see if you can get the title and thumbnail.
Okay.
Because like the launch of that, like if we talk to Elon Musk right now and like we're going to do a SpaceX launch, we don't want to do it halfway. We're not going to do it with like half fuel.
Yeah.
And if you do a live stream with just no thumbnail and the title gets changed later, it's a sloppy launch. So but here's best practice. What you actually want to do is you want to schedule your live stream for at least an hour or more ahead of time.
Yep.
Preferably like 3 hours. The reason why is there's a notification that YouTube sends out to your subscribers at an hour, I think at 15 minutes, and also when it's going live. But YouTube needs enough time to send out those notifications.
Yeah.
So then what also happens is when you schedule it, what's interesting about it is a really good written title and a really good thumbnail. I'm the same way. I have very successful live streams. Yeah. And as soon as it hits me, I just want to go. But what I've learned is, and I will do it solo. I'll use like Canva. Yeah. And have used Photoshop, but all the team has the logins and I don't even know my login anymore.
Same.
And so I'll go into StreamYard and it's really easy to use. That's what I like. And so I'll go in and I'll actually select my Facebook group, and my like podcast channel, my YouTube channel. I click 3 places. I've planned out a good title. I know what my points are, and I'll upload a thumbnail and I'll schedule upload for about an hour ahead of time. And sometimes I'll do that. Like I'll get up and I'll build that, and then like I have it taking a shower or whatever, and I'll kind of like light that fire. Yeah. So I'll do it in the morning or whatever. I'll schedule it, and then I'll be like, all right, I got an hour, and then I'll maybe like make some coffee, take a shower, get ready, roll in. I got 10 minutes left, hit live. And I'm like, all right. And that gives it some time to build up. Now it's been populating in YouTube. See, people are there, more people are there. Instead of just punching through live, the thumbnails really pitch the idea. So that's just like a skill set to learn. I wouldn't actually want to stop you from just going with the flow and letting your creative.
I like that. Can my team do that? Everything you just said, they go up there. I'm using Restream. Do I need to switch to StreamYard?
No, that's fine. And you know what you also could do is you should just have a template ready, like a good photo of you, and like you're figuring out like what are the 3 words. Maybe it's because you could have like 3 words, like get money now. And then your title is like 5 ways to make side income.
When you say 3 words, what do you mean by that? Is that the rule of 3 you talked about? Or what do you mean?
Well, as few words as possible.
Okay.
So meaning like what was the ones you just tell me? Like
I did influencer fast pass, 5 mistakes that cost me millions.
Yeah. So for influencer fast pass, I would actually, the way you do the thumbnail, the title is influencer fast pass. But like the text could say, this works, or try this, ... Because they see try this, and then they read the influencer fast pass. So you're not echoing necessarily like the strategy of what those words say. And so 3 words is just as few words as possible. What was the other one?
5 mistakes that cost me millions.
So 5 mistakes that cost me millions. Ideally, I would love to see like just you kind of looking worried. And then like a red arrow of money being lost or money on fire. Yeah. Like money's burning and you look panicked. No words. And that's it. Because that'd be a hot thumbnail. Yeah. Like, money's burning and you have like this panic face, and then it's 5 mistakes that cost me millions. They see the fire, they see your motion, they see the title. The other thing you might say, 5 money mistakes. That's the text in the thumbnail. And then you have the longer title. Simple, and those 2 things talk together. So if your team's ready and it's a generic kind of photo of you, all they got to do is like change it out. 5 money mistakes. Yeah. Try this.
Yeah. I'm just told my team we need a full-time graphic person.
Yeah.
I'm like, we gotta stop. Like we need full-time in-house. I want my entire company in-house.
Yes.
Only.
You mean local or in-house, like they work for
just
you?
Work for me only. Like when I want graphics, they just bang. Like I got an idea now. I need graphics now.
Yeah.
For what you're telling me.
Yes.
Like, I want to text them that hit these up tonight.
Yeah.
I'm going to go live tonight.
Yeah. I feel you.
So
it's great.
But I don't have that full-time graphic. But Sean, bro, gosh. You drop so much heat, bro.
Appreciate it.
And I just know what it's going to do for somebody. We got to do something together. I haven't figured it out, but I'm going to put a link below, and I'm going to have him tell you what he got going on. But I'm going to put a link below. We're going to have some sort of workshop together, something that y'all have to be a part of. On my podcast, honestly, like I'm not even right now. I'm not making no offer. I'm not doing anything, but we got to do something together because there's so much value that you just deliver. I know you're going to help me make millions of dollars off of YouTube. Well, what you just told me here, I'm going to go rewind this episode, get this to my entire team, and we got to really go in. But tell the people what you got going on. First thing I need them to do, go get YouTube Secrets. I'm talking about go right now. Go in the comments and say, I got mine. Like, I need you to get this on Audible and listen, get the book so you can read it. Just don't play yourself. Don't not get this. But tell the people, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And I mean, Sean Cannell rhymes with YouTube channel, SeanCannell. And yeah, get the book. And that would mean the world. I know it'll serve you. I know it'll help you. And I look forward. Yeah. I love what you're doing. Love the audience, the community you're building.
Appreciate you.
And looking forward to the synergy and the stuff we can do.
I can't wait, bro. I'm excited, bro. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So listen, y'all, that wraps up this particular episode. When I say my goal is to bring you the most value, bring you the best creators, the best entrepreneurs in the world. When I tell you he's the top, you could tell he put his 10,000 hours. And it's not even a guess of, do he know his stuff? Like, he's spitting things off like master. So please, y'all, make sure y'all follow him on Instagram. Subscribe to the Think Media's YouTube channel, y'all. Let's take them to 5 million subs, and make sure y'all get the book. And in the comments, I want you to put, I got my copy, right? Send him a DM on Instagram, Sean Cannell, and say, yo, Neil sent me here. Here's my copy. I want to make sure we show him love, y'all, because remember, information changes situations, but only with implementation. So thank y'all for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, share this with somebody. I know this will help change somebody's life. Peace out.